Yeah. Let's get suited up. Come on. New threads, new threads, new threads.
For the championship, let's go, AJ. Hey, AJ, can I get a picture with you?
I would describe the uniform as clean and contemporary. I think that it's a lot like Atlanta, man. Like you're always pushing, forward. Like the city is constantly innovating and reinventing itself. But there's definitely a nod to the past in them, and I like that part of it.
Atlanta, Georgia, make some noise!
The new era of Falcons football is just not, with the staff and then the jerseys, but it's just a rebrand for all of us, just to start on a fresh foot and, and just attack the year in full force.
The crowd's special, man. You already know where we stand, you feel me? Foes up, you feel me? You know where we at, homegrown. Got the best fans in the city. You know what it is. Stepping.
That's it, baby. ATL. 672. Thank you, guys.
Oh my God, how you, bro? Yes, sir. How you doing? For life. Hold on, throw that up. Throw the four up. Come on, throw the four up. Throw the four up with that.
There's so much to be excited about with the Atlanta Falcons right now, and these uniforms are just part of that story that's about to be told, and we just got a future that I couldn't be more excited for.
You all right? Yeah, for sure.
Hey, I'm ready for y'all.
Come on. We posted up? We posted up?
The red is back. Fans can be excited about that, excited about the vision, and really excited about the direction of the organization. I think all the changes this offseason, whether they be on the field, off the field, we're certainly turning a little bit of a chapter and moving into a new era of the Falcons, whether it be with their uniforms or leadership team, and couldn't be more excited for what's to come.
When we launched uniforms in 2020 and we started, seeing the uniforms on the field and in performance, a couple things came, from seeing our uniforms in practice. And one was there were some legibility issues on our current number set.
That was the very first kind of feedback we started hearing from broadcast and other folks.
I called games in the previous, uniform, and the numbers were tough. I mean, some of the 7s and the 1s, they looked similar, and it was difficult, from sitting up in the press box and, you're down there, you're watching the action, and you're trying to make sure you get the players' names right, and a big part of doing that is the ability to identify, what number they're wearing, as simple as that sounds.
The project initially started with trying to address some legibility and technical things with equipment.
I'm Joey Galeotto, head of equipment operations. Some of the things we learned from the recent uniforms, the side seams on both our black and white jerseys, it was tough for guys to get on. We had sizing issues. That was some of the feedback that they had given us on some of the issues that we had, and as we planned to get a new uniform, what we wanted to do moving forward.
That's what started the process first, because we looked to see if the best route is modifying our existing uniforms, especially because there's a rule with the NFL that even if you just tweak one little thing on a uniform, it resets the clock for an additional 5 years before you can make another change. So given the important severity of that, it was important that we were comprehensive through our analysis and through a comprehensive evaluation of our uniforms, taking in all that feedback. We did feel like this was the right time to have completely new uniforms.
When they first brought the idea, I was incredibly excited about it. Anytime that you get to reimagine what the uniforms may look like, it's an opportunity to think about how you want to pay respect to the past, but also look forward in the future and also evaluate where you are from a present tense. So when Larry and Shannon brought forth the idea, I was all in on exploration.
My name is Ryan Earhart. I'm the design director for NFL uniforms here at Nike.
So in working with Nike in the design process, what's really great is that Nike knows that the team knows the team and the fans more than anyone. So they really want to hear from the organization and what are the key objectives that you're looking to drive for.
It all starts with our really strong partnership with the league. So anytime there's a new uniform request, it always goes through the NFL. So once the NFL approves the project, that's when they start to communicate with us, and that's really when our communication starts opening up with the franchise, and we start to kick off the overall design process.
Knowing individuals such as Jonathan Wright at the league office who helped us so tremendously throughout the process, being able to ask him questions, whether it be on uniform restrictions in terms of design, what are the rollout times, what are those key deadlines that we need to be hitting, whether it be from a league perspective or on Nike's side.
It takes around 2 years to from brief to launch. But it also takes many people from many different functions across Nike, the NFL, as well as the Falcons to actually bring a uniform to full fruition.
So they provide a whole brief intake process and several meetings really to first understand before any actual design processes take place. And from that specifically, for us, first was, okay, what is the feedback that we're hearing, whether it's internally within our organization, from our fans, from our players.
The functionality, of the uniform was very important. To be able to move, and do what they do best, we wanted to make sure that they were comfortable from start to finish when they put it on until they take it off.
Yeah, I think just based on the briefs, really hearing what the fans have been asking for, what the players have been asking for. I think the Falcons did a great job of pulling those insights and having that strong point of view early.
So all those things kind of went into place for a process that lasts over 2 years. And I think that's another important element of this design process. It's not just based on how a season goes and you decide to do new uniforms. It really is, you have to kind of make that decision early on, go through the design process, and ultimately give a thumbs up in terms of are we moving forward.
I think what was really great about our process was that we didn't just go into it saying we wanted to wipe the slate clean. We looked at history. We reviewed every Falcons uniform set in history, and we realized that there were some common threads that bubbled up.
Atlanta Falcons select Steve Bartkowski, quarterback, University of California.
Did you see that smoke coming off of Mike Vick's shoes? Open Gonzalez, and Tony will set it down with a dunk.
The Atlanta Falcons select Julio Jones, wide receiver.
Red.
Reds. The biggest change on uniforms is going back to red.
Who comes to mind when you think of the red jerseys? I would really say rocking my Mike Vick jersey to school when I was in elementary school.
When it comes to red, it's Julio Jones.
The Robert Alford interception to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
The Julio Jones 300-yard game.
Just that red and white just meant a lot for the city, and I'm glad that we get to bring it back. For me, when I think of the Falcons, I envision it in that red jersey.
There was definitely an appetite in our locker room for years, on bringing the red back in some way.
We had a lot of good conversation on color. We've had different home color sets throughout our franchise history, but through all that discussion, through all the different feedback, we felt convicted that this was the right move, and once we started seeing designs, it only confirmed that this was the right decision to go.
narrate us through.
Oh man, well, we're getting out of the elevator, about to go breathe some crisp air.
Today we're going to be covering the final deck as well as the final samples of the 2026 uniform redesigns. I think the thing that's been missing with the current uniforms is that attachment to the history. I think that anything you can do, pulling things that feel familiar, that kind of tug on the heartstrings, and if you can do that in a modern way and really connect with even that younger consumer, I think we've done it right. So from the brief, a couple of the main things that we really took away was how do you pay homage to the past, but also do it in a very modern ways. We'll start here with the home uniform. Again, bringing the body into the red. So pairing that with the brand new number set.
Thanks to our partners at Nike for experimenting with us on the loudest, wildest possibility, the most reserved possibility, and kind of like meeting somewhere that made sense for the broadcast, for the football history, but also having a little bit of injection of Atlanta Falcons into the number set, and knowing that takes up so much of the real estate of the uniform. We wanted it to feel football, but we also wanted it to feel Falcons.
It plays probably one of the most important roles on a uniform. It actually has the most visual space from the front to back. So I think that obsessing the number font is probably, it's going to be well worth its while. But once we got to this point, like Larry said, it's just looking at the relationships between numbers. I think they can all look great on their own. But the minute you start putting some of those combinations together, that's where you start to see some of the inconsistencies, and that's where all that obsession.
Yeah, and one learning about designing numbers too is like you can make a flourish on one number, but that won't necessarily work for the next number in the set, and finding something that could be a consistent piece of the DNA to carry throughout was like really hard to do.
Yeah.
It looks very simplistic, like a simplistic solve, but it's actually like one of the hardest things to do across 10 items.
All right, jumping into the away uniform here, leading with the white body with the red and black number sets.
Even going back to like that Super Bowl run in the late 90s.
Chandler drops. Up the middle, touchdown. And there's the Dirty Birds.
Away uniform had red numbers on it.
They do that Dirty Bird whether they're home.
That was something that was taken into account for this new set of away uniforms. It's like, how do we bring a little bit more red into the away set too? And that was a point of reference for that. So
again, new number set, have the Falcons word mark, bringing in the Dirty Birds in the back neck. You think about the last thing the players see before they put the uniform on.
Kind of minimizing the size of the word mark on the front chest and kind of owning Falcons at home and going to Atlanta on the road was kind of a cool way to rep our city on the road, so that was a big decision.
Create a little bit of distinction from the home by bringing in the Atlanta word mark. I think it's always nice to think about, when you're on the road, you're always representing Atlanta. Then pairing that with a white pant, and you'll see how we brought in a very traditional pant stripe, but bringing in a nice metallic key line of silver.
The stripe on the pant is inspired by the 1966 pant stripe. It's our very first one. It's something that the fans are really, drawn to, that classic look. So we use that as a jumping off point, and we're flanking it with kind of this silver modern approach to us. And that silver is obviously kind of carried up through the rest of the uniform. You catch it in the NFL shield on the uniform, you catch it in the silver embroidery on the Falcon on the shoulders, and then even in the face mask and the logo details on the helmet.
We loved the helmet design from the beginning. I think it was how can we continue to evolve and really enhance it.
So the front bumper of the helmet will now have the winged ATL, which became our official secondary mark over the last couple of years.
The second piece is a slight tweak in the coloration of the face mask. This way it shows up better. We think it ties in with the silver that's now in the pant leg more, which we thought was a good way to build out the entire closet of the uniform all as one, as opposed to having the silver show up in slightly different manners.
There's so much black helmet history for the Atlanta Falcons. We wanted to kind of wear black to kind of honor that whole era of Falcons.
Falcons have done it. They have done the unthinkable. They have won.
The choice of staying kind of this, we call it low gloss, but it's kind of matte. Going with that had kind of photo and video ramifications for our team in our stadium, where we really wanted to go this low gloss so that our photos and videos always kind of like featured our Falcon kind of in all its glory. I think that's something that we don't talk about enough.
And that's the entire uniform. So appreciate your time today, and really excited to see these things hit the field.
Home red jersey featuring Falcons across the front chest with white numbering and nameplate typography. Away white jersey featuring Atlanta across the front chest with red numbering and nameplate typography. The inside neck collar features Dirty Birds. Both black and white pants featuring striping accentuated by silver layer. Black low gloss helmet featuring a new silver face mask and an updated front bumper featuring the winged ATL.
It's a new era of players, of players that are going to be remembered here in Atlanta, and they're going to be remembered in this uniform, and I think that part is special.
What's up, man?
What's up?
Oh,
Chilling?
you ready for some fun show and tell?
I'm ready to go.
All right, man. We're going to have you stand right here.
Okay.
You represent the best of what the Falcons have to offer, so we want to give you the first chance to see what's going to represent you and the rest of us for years to come. Our man Joey's going to take it away.
Come on, Joey, show me something special, man.
Oh my God. About time, man.
Yeah, man.
Hard.
Yeah, so when the guys saw the red, the reaction definitely was joy.
Ooh, okay. Okay, with a little red.
Okay.
Because we did listen and responded to giving them red, and it's something that's going to be new for them. The guys that have been on the team, to be able to wear red moving forward, I think it's exciting. And they definitely are looking forward to the next era of football.
Oh my God. About time, man.
Yeah, man.
Hard.
So AJ, is a native Atlantan, grew up a Falcons fan, and leading up to his getting drafted in 2020, the Falcons had primary red home uniforms. And so, when we drafted AJ, just, a few weeks before that, we announced that we had new uniforms. So when he saw for the first time that we were going back to red as a home jersey, he just couldn't have been more excited.
First time I seen the red jerseys, instantly fell in love, just brought back memories to when I used to watch Prime, Matt, and Julio get active, just growing up in Atlanta. Rocking the red Mike Vick jersey, just brought a lot of back childhood memories.
Yeah, I think the details that I first noticed was just the Falcons right here. I really love this because that's how it used to look. So the Falcon across the chest is, pretty fire to me.
Some of the details, we got Falcons here for home.
The red jersey. I'm just like, the red jersey's wild.
Yeah, man.
The numbers stood out to me a lot. New numbers, gave a little better numbers as well.
That 5 numbers crazy.
I like it. I'm glad that they went back to sort of like a traditional old school type of number, but at the same time still has a little bit of Atlanta Falcon flair to it with like the little edges and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like that one. Silver. I gotta get some. Yeah, we'll talk. We got
red and silver, yeah.
Red, silver, That's fire though. I'm not an accessories type guy. My muscle's the accessory, so. Well, I always say my drip is my muscles.
We're gonna dress Jalen up for the video shoot. That's just not negotiable.
Yeah, it's our chance to tell the story behind the decisions. It's our chance to show off the uniforms as intended. There's no better way to see those uniforms than on Drake London and Bijan Robinson.
Okay.
Shit, when you got guns like that, just let them out, bro. Let them out. You gonna cover, man.
Oh, that one on.
Yeah,
that one
it's
on
easy.
It's gonna be a lot better.
Bro, he's
100%. Let's go.
good. Yeah.
I felt like I was on like a whole new team when I put the new jerseys on. Like it brings a new energy, brings a new vibe. I'm just so excited, you know, just for us to debut them for this season.
And then, yeah, look over your left shoulder.
Wow.
Yep.
We'll do it. Jay Walk, man. Look at Jay Walk.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. You clean too. Clean. You know it. What's up? What's up? Oh, no way. That's sick. So sick.
Very sick.
Heck yeah.
Yo.
Shit.
Bro, this is crazy, bro. So, great.
Are you serious? 1 second with smiling.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Smile.
Now you put the balls to the side, and you're gonna look that way.
Why are shoots like Creative Day so important to kind of set the vibe for the future?
Well, if we're able to pull it off. I'm excited about like this jumbo manifestation of our stripe, which represents so much of our history and our future, kind of being the backdrop to how the players will show up.
Yeah, that red number set for the away uniform is pretty elite, and I think like just a color number set is something that really makes a uniform pop, especially when it's all white. You know, all white is one of my favorite combinations because I feel like it pops on the field, but it pops on TV, and you know, it just looks good when you're wearing it.
The whole mic'd up is just me just mumbling music the whole time. Doing my thing.
No first, like,
Yeah. I already knew that was gonna be nice when we put them on.
I did too. These look
You
unbelievable.
can't never look at a mannequin and be like, that's it.
Chill out, bro.
Yeah, chill out, man.
Chill out.
This shit ain't being a Falcon going on 7 years now. I feel like we wasn't really highlighting the red. Like I said, just growing up watching it, watching the red be a staple piece of the organization, and then when I come, it kind of got moved out of the way, and it was just in the little details of the uniform. But now it's bringing the whole juice back to the whole equation. And like I said, you just can't go wrong with red.
They look clean. That 7, like that old school Falcons. This is what it is, man. We here, that's what we do.
Ball coming in.
to you. Catch the ball.
I think it's exciting to wear it every Sunday because, I mean, the drip, it just makes it so much easier to go out there and put your own swag to the uniform. And then two, I think that's the identity. Ever since I can remember watching Atlanta Falcon football, watching Julio Jones, Mo Sanu, Matt, all them, it was red jerseys. So I love it.
These shots we're doing right now are like ultimate, like a hero shot. Like we want to all see the full closet. So y'all are gonna be lined up. It's gonna be sometimes be a little like family photo, like S. Brandon is gonna help us pose. So we're gonna do video shot, photo shot. So AJ and B. Can we see
the twins?
Watch out.
I'm about to say.
So you can catch the stripe.
Yeah.
I would kind of like
you facing the other way.
Because you don't want him and
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
Like that. Okay.
Right. And then Jalen. Then yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna have all y'all looking down, and I'm gonna cue you. Camera's rolling. All right. Camera action. And player action. Together. So Drake with this one here, and this one you're not staggered.
Bro, I just feel like we're like in the throwbacks, bro.
I know it
But even better, like you said that. You said that.
I think you look back over the last few seasons, we show up with the red helmet with the black throwback, and we create such a unique atmosphere. Our fans certainly love it. They lean in. And I think it's a perfect way for us to pay respect to the past, to honor, Falcons history, while still having that mindset in our current uniform, our current logo of we're in the present, but also looking forward in the future too.
I think saving the throwbacks, for special occasions, I do think Josh is right. It makes for those games to be special, and there's an added element of energy that comes with that. And you certainly feel it as a player, right? When it changes and you've got the opportunity to wear the throwback.
Yeah, it's just something that we talk about it before the game even happens that whole week, and just us putting it on and making sure that we're trying to play our best with it on. It's like that saying, when you look good, you feel good, and you play good.
Well, the throwback is the throwback. I think the logo speaks for itself, and then that gold. So we got on the new uniforms, we got the silver stripe, and then on the throwback, you still got the gold. But the helmet, the red helmet, is what give the whole uniform that pop of color.
Just put your arms to the side. Chest.
I need these.
You want helmets? That's how you go, turn back and
damn.
See, I feel like the throwback jerseys are elite. Comes in the style, design, and color scheme, of course, but with the new jerseys and the throwback jerseys being all in the same arsenal, I feel like it's just a different new firepower for each week of what we put on.
Hey, send me that, dog. That's fire, dog. Hey, we look so sick, bro. That's so hard. That's so good. Oh my gosh.
So when we thought about, launching the new uniforms, and yes, there's just show us the uniforms, but we also want to think about the storytelling around it. We had some good conversations on who could really be that voice, that authority that represents Atlanta, that represents the Falcons, that represents all of our fans, that represents old Atlanta, new Atlanta, all these different, themes, and it quickly landed on, this kind of Hail Mary shot of
Andre 3000.
I once had a dream where I was a Falcon. My eyes were new, fresh, vision like nothing before.
it was so important for us as a brand to have him be the voice of this rollout. He's kind of just been that guy in the ether that kind of represents so much more than Atlanta, and creativity and doing things your own way, and that just his own version of swagger and artistry is just so unique. There's not another person like that on planet Earth.
I grew up listening to Andre 3000 before I even knew who he was. So the fact that he's doing this voiceover for us and is even part of the project is really, really cool.
Yeah, he's a legend, not only all over the world, but for him to be doing it here and for a team, I really haven't seen him do a lot of sports teams and get involved in it too much. So for us to be the team that he's about to, collaborate with and, just make his presence known, and I think it's just gonna make the city feel so much more comfortable and hearing his voice and then seeing the new uniforms, and it's just like the perfect marriage.
Pat, you didn't ask me about the Falcons uniform. Clean new look for Atlanta. Very sharp, very cool looking. We got, see, here it is.
Andre 3000. Hold on, I'd rather hear. Hold on. Can we go back? Can we please turn that up? Did he write it, or is he reading voiceover? You think? Turn it up.
I once had a dream where I was a falcon. My eyes were new, fresh, vision like nothing before. I could see in what felt like 4 dimensions in time as one of them explored. I could now see everything.
Sick.
Unbounded from the ground, I was let loose. The higher I soared, the more free I became. The sky was all mine, and I was the same. I am the fastest animal on the planet. To naked eyes a blur. Swipes of red, white, silver, and black would occur without alert. Prey would have no time to pray. In this dream, my body was a falcon, but my mind was still mine. I could recognize my city and nest from miles away in detail, without trying. All dreams feel real, of course, but this one was different still. A bouncing word I heard upon waking even now gives me chills. Atlanta, 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 Atlanta. Until no sound. I could still see everything as it is and was, but now I'm flying on the ground. A new red rush.
Hey, dog. I'm 3 stacks down.
That was incredible.
3 Stacks is undefeated. How did they get him to do that? That's the question.
Andre 3K, Atlanta native, narrating that incredible piece of poetic video.
Oh, yeah.
That was Andre 3000.
If you're going to make an introduction to a brand new uniform that has some culture behind it, that's how you do it.
You'll get one of the greatest of all time. See him out there. Look at that. He said, Atlanta, Atlanta, Atlanta.
Bro, I didn't even play for Atlanta.
So they'll mix that up.
And what you're holding, so are the fan jerseys different than the actual player jerseys?
Nope, this is a fan jersey.
Okay.
So this is exactly what fans, and then obviously for the player jerseys, the sleeve will be a little bit different. It'll be cap sleeve. But yeah, this is exactly what you can go buy at the store if you're a fan. And I think they're great.
Retail and that element of the uniform redesign process was really important, because for us, like, yes, everyone is watching the games and watching our players on the field, but one of the best ways that our fans show their fandom is wearing our jerseys. And so we wanted to be thoughtful to the process of not just designing only for our players, but also making sure that the retail versions of the jerseys and the uniforms really resonated well with our fans, both from, again, a visual aesthetic side, but as well as their own functionality and wearing jerseys. So that was a really fun part of the process.
I think the fans should be excited about this new set of uniforms because, if you're a kid, watching some of our players, like a Bijan or a Drake, I think of being a kid and the red uniforms and watching a Michael Vick, Warwick Dunn, Algie Crumpler, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, those guys who I grew up watching and I envision when I think of Falcons. So, I think it's important, for the fans to be able to gravitate to this new era of the Falcons.
And I think this era coming in, it's new, it's fresh, and guys like Drake London or Bijan Robinson, these are guys that are going to be remembered in this uniform. And I think that's the really cool part. That's why, it's going to be exciting for the fans to be able to get out there and get new jerseys.
It's a different organization, different move, different team, where when you have everything working in the favor of positivity, I just think the uniforms is bringing that into 2026. Just a new Falcons, new standard, new identity, and I know all the guys can't wait to rock out in new unis.
I think it just means clean slate. We're gonna start on a fresh slate, and we're gonna keep it pushing and try to make what Atlanta football is known to be here, and that's a powerhouse.